Before we get into the top 10 JRPGs of 2018 so far, I want to let you guys know that this video is brought to you by BlueStacks, a great and free application that lets you play mobile games on your PC. All you have to do is install the BlueStacks application and you're good to go. Specifically, as a Final Fantasy fanatic, I would highly recommend you to check out Final Fantasy 15 A New Empire, which is, by the way, free, and on PC with BlueStacks, you'll enjoy the game with better visuals, better controls with keyboard and mouse support, a more immersive experience, and considering you're playing on PC versus mobile, longer gaming sessions are much more comfortable. There's a link in the description box below so you can check out BlueStacks as well as Final Fantasy 15 A New Empire. Now on to the top 10 JRPGs of 2018 so far. I've been touting the renaissance of Japanese RPGs on this channel for quite a while, and 2018 has really shown that. Just in the year so far, we've gotten a ton of new JRPGs, older JRPGs being ported to various new platforms, and it's just been a great time to be a fan of Japanese RPGs, and that's what we're gonna take a look at in this video. The 10 best Japanese RPG releases of this year so far. Now, this includes games that may have came out years ago, but they were later ported over to new platforms. Maybe they came over stateside for the first time. So not every one of these games is completely brand new, but in terms of being released on a new platform or being a new game, that's what you're gonna find on this list. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, we have Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Now, Ni no Kuni 1 was one of the best JRPGs of last generation. You could make an argument that it was one of the best games of last generation. Level 5 did such a great job with it, and Studio Ghibli's hand in the game just enhanced it overall, and it was such a good game that I think it was really hard for the second game to live up to the expectations I personally had for it, and I did not think Ni no Kuni 2 was quite as good of a game as Ni no Kuni 1 Wrath of the White Witch. However, Ni no Kuni 2 was still a very good game. Wasn't a big fan of a lot of the side content, but the main story was still very good, the characters were very endearing, the art style is still great, and there's still a lot of fun to be had in this 30 to 40 hour journey that you're gonna have with Ni no Kuni 2. The game's available on the PlayStation 4 and PC, and right now you can get it rather cheap, so I would definitely still give it a look. It's just that if you played the first game and you know how amazing that title was, I would say temper your expectations a little bit, but still expect a very good JRPG. Moving on from that, we have Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. Now, Digimon really fell off for a long time, especially here in the States. When you take a look at the trajectory of Pokemon, it's been completely night and day in comparison to Digimon and Pokemon, but Digimon's making a little bit of a comeback. We had Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and then the follow-up title, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. It improved upon the first game, however, they did reuse a lot of the assets from the first title as well, so that was a little disappointing, but in terms of content, it's definitely more fleshed out. You have more Digimon, and it's a pretty good game, especially if you are a fan of the IP. Now, Digimon is also getting another game, Digimon Survive, and that looks incredible. That might be the Digimon game we've been hoping for and waiting for, but that's still a ways out. That'll be coming sometime in 2019. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory is still a game I would highly recommend you to give a look, especially if you're a Digimon fan. Next up, we have one of the Nintendo Switch's best game and probably the best JRPG on it, and that is Octopath Traveler. Octopath Traveler is a Square Enix JRPG, and it was done by the same guys that also did Bravely Default, and those games on the 3DS were excellent. And Octopath Traveler, right away when you look at this game, it's hard not to be impressed by the art style. It's got an HD 2D art style, a little bit of an old school design, but still has a modern feel. And if you're a fan of Super Nintendo RPGs, this is gonna be right up your alley. A lot of people will compare it to Final Fantasy VI, and what a comparison that is. I mean, that is one of the best comparisons a game can get, because Final Fantasy VI is an incredible game. It's got its traditional turn-based battles, but it feels good enough where it's still good in a modern setting. You have different weapons, abilities, and you have a lot of different stories to go through, but that's maybe the one lesser quality of this game. The story's still pretty good, but it's not at that elite level like the rest of this game. If that story was at the elite level, I would say that this would have been one of the best JRPGs of all time. It falls a little short of that, but still a very, very good game. Next up, I want to cover a couple games that finally made their way over to PC. Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age hit PC earlier this year, and I absolutely loved Final Fantasy XII. I've made that very clear on this channel. Final Fantasy XII back in 2006, not a lot of people were fans of it. Maybe it's because of the battle system, maybe it was because Vaughn wasn't the best main character in the world, but I think when Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age was released on PlayStation 4 last year and earlier this year on PC, people took to FF12 a lot more than they did back in 2006. Now, truth be told, Zodiac Age is a better game. It has a new job system, a re-recorded orchestra, but the essence of the game is still there, and in my opinion, it was always very good. There's a lot of content, a lot of secrets, and it's going to keep you busy for quite a while, so I would definitely give Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age a look. I've seen it on sale for around $24.99, and that's a pretty good price. Next up, we have The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2. Now, I'll take this opportunity to just gush about The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel, because this is an exceptional JRPG franchise, but you gotta know going in, this is a game separated into 4 titles. On PC, you can already play Trails of Cold Steel 1, and Trails of Cold Steel 2 was released earlier this year. The games are also available on PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3. A PlayStation 4 version has not come stateside yet. There is a collection of both titles on the PS4 in Japan, so hopefully that comes over stateside soon. But these games are so great. If you're talking about character development, a fleshed out world, an amazing story, it does not get much better than The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. Now, you do have to play these games sequentially, so don't just jump right into Trails of Cold Steel 2. Play the first game. The first game has such an incredible cliffhanger that you'll want to play the second game right away. And the first game does start off a bit slow. It really fleshes out each individual character, which is great. It really gets you attached to every character. But then once you get to the second game, it's really full on steam ahead, and the game is so good. If you're even remotely a fan of Japanese RPGs, I would highly recommend you to give these games a look. The only issue is it does have some JRPG tropes that might turn off some newcomers, so this isn't a JRPG that I would start with. But for avid fans of the genre, absolutely give The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel a look. And once it comes to PlayStation 4, for all of you guys that play on PS4, you gotta buy it on there. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Next up, we have Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition and Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition. Essentially the same game, has all the same content, but with the Windows Edition, it was the first time that Final Fantasy 15 made its way over to PC. And yes, Final Fantasy 15 was released on consoles all the way back in 2016, but the Final Fantasy 15 we got back in 2016 is far less of an experience than what you get in Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. Check out all of this extra content you get. You get all of the Season Pass content, which those episodes included in the Season Pass, they really should have been a part of the main story because it really fleshes out the additional characters in the story. And you get the Royal Edition upgrade, which includes a new map and a lot of new content. Around 6 to 8 hours of content, which is pretty sizable. And now you do have the Comrades multiplayer mode as well. Final Fantasy 15, the Royal Edition, is a completely fleshed out experience. It's the experience we should have gotten at launch. Instead of getting Final Fantasy 15, then getting a Season Pass, and then getting a second Season Pass, that second Season Pass isn't out yet. So even if you do pick up the Royal Edition, you're not really getting the full FF15 experience. There's still another set of DLC waiting to come. And I'm sure a year and a half down the line, Square Enix will release the ultimate Final Fantasy 15 edition. So if you want to wait on that, by all means wait. But the FF15 Royal Edition, you can get it for around $30. And for that price, it's a great pickup considering all the content that you're getting with it. Next up, we have Ys Memories of Celceta on PC. Now, we did have Ys 8 last year. We had Ys 8 released earlier this year on PC, but the PC version of Ys 8 is so terrible that you want to forego that entirely. Ys 8 is a great game. If you have a PS4, I would recommend you to play it on there. The PC version, if it gets better, I would highly recommend it because Ys 8 is an excellent game. The PC version is just not up to snuff, but what is up to snuff is Ys Memories of Celceta, originally a PS Vita game. This game is great. Great music, a pretty good story, and the fast-paced Ys combat that you know and love. This is Ys at its best form, and on PC, this game does run really well. This one was done by Xseed, Ys 8 was done by NIS. Xseed always knocks it out of the park. Hopefully with Ys 8, that gets better on PC sometime soon, and I can recommend that as well. Next up, we have a game that some people will debate. Is it a JRPG? Is it not a JRPG? For the sake of this video, I'm gonna classify it as a JRPG. From Software is a Japanese studio. This is kind of an RPG. Dark Souls Remastered is on this list. It's Dark Souls Remastered, and as far as great remasters go, I would not put Dark Souls Remastered among the best of them, but it was released at $40. Dark Souls fundamentally was already a great game, so revisiting Dark Souls 1 is always much appreciated. And now on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, coming to Nintendo Switch sometime soon, you get to play through Dark Souls 1 again at $40. At this point, probably a little bit cheaper. You can't go wrong with Dark Souls 1, which many would argue is the best of the series. I would argue against that, but it's a great game nonetheless, and I'm not here to get into that debate right now. Next up, we have a JRPG that finally made its way over to the Xbox One, and that is Nier Automata Become as Gods Edition. Now, one of the major elements that is holding the Xbox One back is its lack of Japanese experiences, but it looks like that is finally getting better. We know that Tales of Vesperia is going to be coming to the Xbox One. Of course, Kingdom Hearts 3 will be seeing a release on the Xbox One, and earlier this year, Nier Automata finally made its way over to the Xbox One in Nier Automata Become as Gods Edition. If you have an Xbox One X, this game runs and looks fantastic. And as far as the game game itself goes, we have gushed over Nier Automata so many times. From the intricate storytelling in that you have to play through the game multiple times to really get the full gist of the story, the great themes, awesome Platinum Games style combat system, and of course, how can we not gush about the incredible music? Nier Automata is a fantastic JRPG, even as an entry-level JRPG. If you're not a big fan of the genre, Nier Automata is a great one to get started with. And lastly, we have Dragon's Crown Pro. Dragon's Crown was a Vanillaware game released on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, and if you don't know, Vanillaware has done some other great games like Muramasa the Demon Blade, as well as the great PS2 title Odin Sphere. Odin Sphere has gotten a PlayStation 4 remaster, Muramasa the Demon Blade has not, but I hope it happens sometime soon. And of course, earlier this year, we got a remaster of Dragon's Crown with Dragon's Crown Pro. It's got that same great art style, and Vanillaware really went a little above and beyond for this one, as you even have crossplay between PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita, so that's awesome. That's not something a lot of people will take advantage of, but as a feature being in the game, I can definitely appreciate that. The game itself looks great. That art style holds up really, really well. That's why I can go back and play Odin Sphere and still have a great time, and the same is true for Dragon's Crown, even though it is more of a recent game. Some of the stylization, like the character design, might off-put some people, but overall, from a gameplay and design standpoint, I think Dragon's Crown Pro is a very good game. The only issue with this one in my eyes was the pricing. It was released at $49.99. That was just too expensive for a game like this. Really should have been released at $29.99 or at the most $39.99. Now you can regularly find it on sale for $34.99, and I think that's a good price for Dragon's Crown Pro. So that's gonna conclude this video. Like I said, JRPGs have had a real renaissance this entire generation. We've seen so many excellent JRPGs, and there are more to come. I can't wait for Tales of Vesperia Remastered later this year. Of course, we've got Dragon Quest XI on the way. Early next year, we have Kingdom Hearts 3. The Final Fantasy VII Remake might launch before I'm dead, so there's a lot of cool stuff to be looking forward to in the JRPG department, and 2018 has already showcased a lot of great stuff. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What were your favorite JRPGs of this year so far? Did we forget any games? Let us know, and sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.